Hey, what's up guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Welcome back to another live stream. Today's Saturday, February the 7th. Are the poles shifting even more than they've already been shifting? It sure looks that way. I've got something I want to share with you guys in this video that I had to take a serious second look at. We all know that the magnetic north has been moving, as you're going to see here on this graph. This is a graph of the magnetic north. Hey, what's up guys? Good to see you here having coffee. And Kilo, what's up, Girly Chew? Check this out. This is what the magnetic field has been doing for the last 400 and, I don't know, let's say 20 years, since they've been keeping somewhat accurate records. The records keep getting better and better with the advancements in technology. But you're looking at, I'm going to zoom in close so you can get a better look at this thing. This is the magnetic north wandering, and it is a wanderer. But has something changed? I got a video the other day of a young lady driving down the road, and there was some major confusion, according to her compasses, on which direction she was actually going. I was absolutely shocked. Here we're going to zoom in closer and take a look at the wanderer. Here we go. The magnetic north over here, just north of far northern Canada in the Arctic Circle. And you're going to see this thing take off. This is around 1600, 1700. When it hits about the 1900s, this thing accelerates, and it is still accelerating across the pond up here, across the Arctic Sea, headed towards Siberia. Watch it take off. That green dot is the magnetic north, and the magnetic south also wanders as well. Here we go, 1831. Then we're going to just go to 1948 real quick, 73, 94. Then watch it accelerate. 2001, 2007, are you serious? So it went from 2007 to today, 19 years, it's moved as far as it did in nearly 75. So it is definitely accelerating, and I have something to share with you guys in this video that shows some sort of a very strange anomaly that I honestly couldn't believe. Looking at the earthquake situation, we're going to look at earthquakes, the sun, Schumann resonance. I have another really unusual observation with regard to the most recent snow that was, and the ice storm. In fact, there's still power outages here in the Central Plains or the eastern United States. The southeastern U.S., Mississippi still dealing with 13,200 customers without power. And you know, they are over it. They've been without power now for 2 weeks. It's following the ice storm in northern Mississippi. But they're working hard, trying their best to get the power back on. That has been longer than most hurricanes that we see. I mean, even when Hurricane Irma went through, I think the power was out for probably 10 or 11 days. These ice storms are no joke. They really do a number on the power grid, and they're still trying to get power back on in northern Mississippi. But I want to show you guys a photo of some unusual snow residue that was spotted right here in Arkansas. And maybe you've seen this too. I don't know. I like I said, I grew up in the snow. I don't remember ever seeing residue like this following a snowstorm. But looking at the earthquake situation real quick, not too much going on right now, but this is going to change this month, and I'll tell you why. With the planetary alignment, the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, and the planets are already headed towards their respective positions. Right now, as I do this video, Earth is already always where it's at. Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the moon, or the sun, and the full moon is always a key player when it's full. And then the sun is the primary, the guest. The sun is the main character. The rest of us are just kind of passing through. So when this planetary alignment comes into play, which is going to start making its way around the 10th, look for an increase in earthquake activity, especially following the solar eclipse and then the upcoming lunar eclipse. But the earthquakes right now, no big earthquakes anywhere around the world that I know of. I haven't seen any in actually quite a while. But again, that's going to more than likely change as we move forward in time. We saw a big spike last night in the Schumann resonance. Are you serious right now? 50 hertz lasting not quite an hour, but it was the broadband. Look at this one here, going across the center. What is up with that? Wow, and that lasted the better part of 10 hours, over 10 hours. I don't know, that is a highly unusual signal. Looked like a 50 hertz spike going horizontally across the graph. Anybody have trouble sleeping last night? Yeah, I bet so. We're up, okay, earthquakes. Come over here, quick look at the sun. There haven't been any solar flares in the last 3 days, any big ones. But you know what? There could be, because looking at the Earth facing side of the sun, yes, we're still seeing sunspots. Active regions, we have a coronal hole, but no solar storms. The K index is quiet. We anticipated a solar storm about a day and a half ago, but that one missed the Earth. There's another one inbound that could interact with the Earth today, actually tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But you might see auroras if you're in the upper latitudes, the Canada area, you know, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden. You guys might see some activity tonight, but we'll have to wait and see. I want to show you guys. Here's the weird snow. Have you guys seen this? Are you serious right now? What is going on? AJ out of Benton, Arkansas. This is after the snow and ice melted. This is a picture from today. Look at that. What is going on? Like I said, I grew up in the snow, and I remember I saw a lot of snow come and go over the years. I never saw this. This almost looks like a thin layer. I mean, I don't know, plastic? Saran wrap? A real thin layer of saran wrap? What is that? Somebody else sent me a picture of this same type of stuff, and it was underneath the snow. As the snow was retreating, this was being left behind. I mean, what is up with that? There you can kind of see it. It was a cohesive piece of, I don't know, it looks like plastic. And people are saying that they try to use a torch, whatever, on the snow, and it doesn't want to melt, but it's leaving this behind when it actually does melt. It does melt, as you can clearly see here. This was covered with snow, and that's what was left. Anybody else see that? I don't know. That is really weird. Like I said, I grew up in the snow, never saw that before, and I went through a ton of winters, never saw that. I don't know, it's just another weird observation. Speaking of weird observations, here we go. There's something up with the magnetic north. We already know there is. It's making a beeline across the Arctic, headed towards Siberia. Has been for a while. The thing of it is, it's gaining speed. It's getting faster and faster and faster. So what's going to happen when this thing does go full tilt mode? Probably a lot of different things that we've never seen before. But here's something I've never seen before. I know technology is good, but you know, maybe it's going to glitch from time to time. But look at this young lady here, driving down the road in Utah. Charlie B, she was looking at the sunset, okay? She's driving west. Pay attention to her phone she's holding down here and the mirror up here. Again, she is driving west, looking at the sunset. Check this out. This is the weirdest thing. That's why I asked, are the poles already shifting in a big way? Look at her phone. I'm going to zoom in here. Her phone is showing she's driving in an east-northeasterly direction. Okay? The directional up here on the camera, which is correct, shows she's driving to the southwest. Look. That's showing southwest. The phone is showing northeast. What? Yeah, you can't make this stuff up, man. And she's pointing to the sunset because the sunset looks a little farther. And she's wanting to know why her phone is showing that the sun is setting in the south or northeastern sky. But that's not the northeastern sky. That is due west. So something has malfunctioned here, but usually these compasses, and I've used these compasses, and I know you guys have too, they're normally very accurate, right? So what was going on there? The mirror said one thing, the compass said another, the sun looked like it was way far to the left, something just looked out of whack. I know a gentleman sent me a video a couple days ago showing that the sun was already way too far to the north. It was setting on a road that it doesn't normally set on until like March, the 1st of March. And it was already there at basically the end of January. But her compass is showing an easterly direction and she's headed west. Make that make sense, right? That doesn't make sense. So is that pole wandering up there even more? Is it moving faster than anybody knows? Is anybody watching? Is anybody paying attention? But Charlie over here driving down the road and notices her phone, here it is up close. Look at that, northeast, and the camera says southwest. I mean, seriously, guys, you know, something ain't right here. There you go, both of them side by side. Southwest, northeast. I wasn't joking. That's real. Yeah. So what's really going on with the North Pole? I don't know. The sunset in the southwestern sky, that's what she was pointing at there. So, we're getting all kinds of unusual visuals and things like that. And I noticed the other day, my phone set here, I noticed it was stuck on a certain time much longer than it should be. I looked at it, and then I had to look at it again because it was stuck on the same time for like 2 minutes. I'm like, what's going on with my phone? And it's an iPhone, and like this gentleman here noticed a malfunctioning clock. And I've had this for a couple of weeks, John Galt out of Iowa, and this is at a school, okay? And he's looking at, this is a double-sided clock in the hallway. Watch what happens here. This is weird. It's what my phone did the other day. And when I got this, I'm thinking, okay, it's a machine, it can malfunction, right? They do. Watch what happens with the second hand here. That's exactly what my phone did. I guess it only did it in minutes. Once it decided to catch up, it jumped from 33 to 36 in less than a minute. But it was stuck on 33 for well over 2 minutes. And then when it corrected, it jumped just like that clock right there. Since when do second hands jump like that? That's why this is a school teacher. He's an educated man. He looks at this clock every day. He's never seen it behave like that. So we have malfunctioning clocks, compasses going haywire, telling us that east is west and vice versa. So yes, I was serious. Have the magnetic poles done something cattywampus? I mean, I don't know. We know it's happened in the past. We know more than likely it's going to happen again at some point in the future. It's just nobody really knows when. From what they say, this is the situation with regard to a pole shift is way overdue. So are we going to see one anytime soon? Your guess is as good as mine, but we're going to have to pay attention to the signs. That's what we have to watch. That's the only really way we're going to know. Pay attention to your compasses. Pay attention to the behavior of wildlife, the birds, and your plants, like trees. I have a tree in my backyard that's already well bloomed, and last year and the year before it didn't do what it's doing now until the end of February and the 1st of March. We've got new leaves coming on the trees, and the old leaves haven't even fallen off yet. So again, you're looking at things and scratching your head like, man, this just doesn't make a lick of sense. Somebody driving in their car west and their compass says she's going east. Luckily she had the presence of mind to look, because she thought something looked off with the sun itself. She thought the sun looked like it was in a different place for sunset. And maybe it was, and maybe it was throwing the compass off, or at least one of them. I know you guys are observant. You guys don't miss a trick. I'm telling you, you guys send me things. In fact, I've got a video over there that I'm going to share with you guys probably tomorrow of a huge triangle that a gentleman saw in the sky above Connecticut. I've got all kinds of good stuff coming up that you guys are really going to enjoy. This is a great video, and it makes you question everything. When you look up in the sky and see something like this that I'm still working on it. I want to give you guys I'm going to put it in its Sunday best so you guys can see what the man saw up in the sky above Connecticut. When you see something like this in the sky, you question everything. You're like, what in the world can fly that's so quiet, but yet it's so big and occupies so much of the nighttime sky? Oh yeah, it's big, and it's a big deal. But the question you have to ask is, where does something like this park? And who doesn't see this thing sitting in a random field somewhere? I mean, it would take several acres. It was that big. Where's this thing stationed at, These things are real, I'm telling you. And this gentleman saw one in the nighttime sky here recently. And it's an excellent video. So it looked like it was coming from the north. Speaking of, the North Pole acting all wild and crazy. It's accelerating towards Siberia. So, I just wonder if maybe that day that the clocks went haywire, the compass went haywire, the sun looks like it's in the wrong place. Maybe it did move a little bit. Maybe it bounced back. Maybe it's starting to do things that it's never done before. We've never seen a pole shift before. We know it's happened, but we don't know how it actually goes down, I mean, in today's world with all these electronics and devices that we can monitor, and we do monitor, just like my phone malfunctioning the other day. That phone never malfunctions like that. Never. I've never seen it do that. But I looked at it, I was busy working, I was doing something, and I was preoccupied, and I knew I was doing something for at least 2 or 3 minutes. You know how you subconsciously keep track of time. And I looked back over at my phone, and it was still on the same time. And I'm like, why hasn't the time changed? So next thing I know, it leaped a whole minute and a half, or actually 2 minutes. It went from 33 to 35 and then 36. And I'm like, wow, we just went through 3 minutes in less than a minute and it was stuck on the same time. So I'm wondering, is something going on? People are noticing malfunctioning clocks. People are noticing malfunctioning compasses. So something must be up, and I think the poles are starting to wander a little faster. So if the North Pole is wandering, that means the South Pole is wandering, and that means the South Atlantic anomaly is getting bigger. Our friend Iago from Brazil, he's been trying to tell us that there's something going on down there in Brazil. They're seeing something in the sky. So it makes me wonder, if these poles are wandering like that, it is going to create a breach. Think about it. Like if you hold a magnet, 2 magnets in your hand, and you just kind of toy around with them, you know, when you move it to one side or another, you can feel the weakness up in the top part of the magnet, especially if you're holding a couple of bar magnets. You can feel the energy change. Of course you can. So it's probably on the same type of scale. You know, if the North gets a little too far, you know, from where it's used to, that breach is going to get bigger. There's no way it can't. So Iago has been trying to tell us something from down there in Brazil. And Iago, I have been watching satellites. I am looking daily. And I'll find it. Trust me, I'll find it. I haven't forgot. Trust me, it's on a note card right here. I look for it every day. And I'll find it, buddy. Thank you for giving me the heads up. I appreciate it, because there is something going on with the magnetic north. It's obvious to me that something has accelerated up here. It looks like the North Pole is moving maybe a little bit quicker, because as you're going to see here, once again, this is what I started this video off with. The magnetic north is right here, and this is 400 years basically worth of movement. It accelerates when it hits around the 2000 mark, and it moves faster and farther from 2000 than it basically did the entire time this has been calculated and put on this graph. Watch it accelerate once again. So I think it made an acceleration move the other day. People noticed it in the form of malfunctions in their electronics and things like that. Compasses, I probably noticed it on my clock. You know, it just sent out, look at that, look at that. Are you serious? Look how fast, that's at regular speed. I didn't do anything to that. So, you know, that's basically what you have here is positive and negative charge. That's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with magnetics. It's no different than when you're looking at a sunspot. Not that it's a sunspot, but sunspots are the same thing. They're magnetically wired with positive and negative energy. And when they touch, that energy creates a solar flare. And it creates a solar storm sometimes if it's Earth directed. We haven't seen one in a few days, but I would say, looking at the Earth facing side of the sun, we are probably due. Here's something I'm watching, Iago, in case you're watching from down in Brazil. This is one of the instruments I use, and it has different features that I'm looking for the South Atlantic anomaly. I'm looking for signs of the South Atlantic anomaly. You bet I am. And this thing, I'm hoping, will show me evidence of it. And that will be an indication that, yes, the magnetic north is moving. What's up, Pat S? Thank you for being a Star Family member for 26 months. Good for you. Bravo, I appreciate that. That is super kind. Very well done. Here's a look at what's coming up here in less than 2 weeks. This is going to be happening down in Antarctica. If any of you are going to be down in Antarctica, make sure you look up on the 17th of February. The sky is going to look like this temporarily for about an hour. There's going to be a beautiful solar eclipse, only visible from partially in New Zealand and Antarctica. March 3rd, the lunar eclipse is coming up. Look for earthquake activity to increase here in the coming days, guys, because it just can't not increase because of what's happening around us. Of course it's going to increase. Will we see big earthquakes? Probably a combination of both. We're already seeing swarms in California, which they're no stranger to swarms. Yes, I understand they have swarms over there all the time, but this swarm here came on really fast during the full moon. So that tells you the full moon has some horsepower, and it is an influencer of earthquakes. You bet it is, especially during planetary alignments, and throw in an eclipse to boot. Oh yeah, it's the stage is being set. Once again, heightened solar activity, planetary alignments, eclipses, full moons, earthquakes. That's just how it is. We've connected those dots for years now, so it's not a big surprise. So yeah, we'll probably see an increase in earthquake activity, and hopefully the earthquake activity, if it is big, it's in a place where there have already been earthquakes that are large and nobody gets disturbed by them, you know what I mean? Maybe over there off the west coast of Kamchatka, where there's already been an 8.8, so we know they can handle an 8.8 over there, and nobody got hurt. That's the thing we want to see. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. Earth has been rolling with big earthquakes for years, ever since we acknowledge that there have been earthquakes. But you know, it's not going to change. There's always going to be earthquakes. There's always going to be solar flares. That's just how this place is put together. So yeah, as long as they're basically where nobody can be bothered, that's great, man. But something is up with the North Pole. Looks like it's wandering wild and wacky. I don't know what's up, guys, but I'm getting more of these. And I'm wondering, here's something else I'm wondering. You know, we have malfunctioning clocks, malfunctioning phones. Could it be the magnetic north is causing some of these lights around the world? Because this is a global event. This is not an isolated event. Alex out of Glen Allen, Virginia, 2/2 of 2026. I just share these every once in a while. I still get them all the time. People are seeing lights malfunction. So could this be something to do with magnetics? I don't know, you know, it very well could be. Because this is happening, like I said, all around the world. Misty Dove out of Dayton, Ohio, the next night, 2/3 of 2026. She looked out the window. This is what compelled her to take the video, was the mysterious, freaky flashing lights. People aren't used to seeing lights just flickering and flashing rogue and randomly for unknown reasons. It just doesn't make sense. It's never done that before. I know it's doing it now. Could be LED lights, could be a ballast. I don't think it's ballast, because I was changing ballast when I was 14 years old at a job that I had, and we didn't have flickering, flashing lights like that. So I don't think it has anything to do with that. I'm thinking more of a magnetic rogue, almost like an EMP, a natural EMP, that these lights are reacting to locally. That's what I think, because this has happened all over the world. I've got videos from all over the world. Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere. Yes, I have. I've got a whole folder with 3,000 different videos in them from different people that do not know each other. It's just one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. Once again, if you guys have seen the snow melt leave behind some sort of weird residue, and you can get a picture of it, send me a picture to reports@MrMBB333.com. If you guys have any cool photos of the day or nighttime sky, send them on in, reports@MrMBB333.com. If they won't attach to the email, that tab right there that says have a large video, it's a Dropbox. Drag and drop your videos. Here, I'll show you. Watch. I'll click on it. There you go. Cha-ching, there's a Dropbox. Drag and drop your videos into the Dropbox, but please include your first name, your last name if you want. That's cool. I just want to make sure I can give you credit. That's all. Your name, date, and location, and I'll take it from there. And I want to thank you in advance. And I want to thank Charlie for her keen observation. Once again, as she's driving down the road westbound, and she happened to notice her phone was showing that she's driving eastbound. Her camera compass, or her phone mirror compass is showing she's going southwest, west-southwest. Her phone is showing that she's going east-northeast. So make that make sense. The only thing I can think that's going on, we got a malfunctioning piece of equipment, or we have a wandering magnetic north that decided to wander a little bit more on that day, and magnetics, certain electronics are sensitive to it, and it told us a story. Maybe that's what her phone was trying to tell us, that this thing maybe jumped 50 miles. Things kind of went cattywampus for a minute. Maybe now they've settled again. I don't know, but the magnetic north is moving faster and faster every day. It is making a beeline towards Siberia. And we are due, we are way overdue for a magnetic pole shift. All right, guys, well, listen, that's all I've got for today. I'm going to hop off here. I'm working on, once again, that big triangle video that I know you guys are going to enjoy, and I'll have that queued up for you guys probably tomorrow or the next day. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there.